everyone and greetings from Australia. My name is Ruth. I am an Australian registered migration agent and a lawyer of the Supreme and High Court of Australia. Well, in today's video, I would like to share with you the importance of skills assessment if you're looking at migrating to Australia. So what is skills assessment? Skills assessment is required for the Department of Home Affairs before you can apply for certain types of skilled or work visas. It is to have your skills assessed to be comparable to Australia's standard. Now, an applicant usually needs to show that they have the relevant qualification and, in some cases, work experience, which is highly relevant to the nominated occupation. For example, if you are a carpenter, then you will usually need to show that you have the relevant qualifications such as a certificate, as well as years of work experience before you can have a positive skills assessment. And if you're successful, then you're deemed to be Australian qualified. Now, in limited circumstances, if you have a wealth of work experience in some occupations, you might be able to be exempted from having like a bachelor's degree, for example. But then you will have to show a wealth of work experience. What I mean by that is many years of work experience to compensate for the qualification which you may not have. So the criteria for your particular occupation will really depend on your nominated occupation. For example, if you are a mechanic, then your assessing authority will be Trades Recognition Australia. If you're a nurse, then your assessing body may be NMAC or APRA. If you're an accountant, then your assessing body might be CPA, IPA or ICAA. If you're a marketing specialist, for example, then your assessing body is likely to be VET-ASSESS. So each occupation on the skilled occupation list will have a distinct skill assessing body, and it is important that you know exactly what they are asking for before you apply. Assuming that you have gone through your skills assessment and the outcome is positive, then you will be given a certificate or letter from your Australian assessing body stating that they will recognize your skill. Now, that in a way is the first, I would say, golden ticket to your dreams to attain a skilled or certain types of work visa. Because without that, you might not be able to migrate to Australia. Skills assessment is one of the most important criteria, and I always stress that to my client. It is so important that you have it done properly, because without the document, then any migration or work visas may not be possible. Therefore, it is important that you choose the correct type of occupation that matches with your skills, your qualification, as well as your work experience. And the documents that you prepare has to be solid. They have to be legitimate. They have to be done very properly, especially with the job description part. Now, I've had assisted countless numbers of clients, and I received phone calls after phone calls from certain clients who have gone and do this skill assessment application themselves, and for some reason, you know, whether the position description, so usually it's a position description, is not sufficient. So for example, the employers would write one paragraph letter saying so-and-so worked for me from this date to this date and say X occupation, and they didn't actually describe the role, because you see, when it comes to the task and the role, it is so important that you are able to show that what you have done for your employer is closely related, highly related to what is on the Australian government's list, which is the ABS website. So before you even attempt skill assessment, you need to look at the ABS website to see what the Australian government is saying they want to see, and then compare that to your work experience, and make sure that that document is done properly. Of course, it'll have to be a legitimate document, and yes, I can't stress enough the importance of skills assessment. And In some cases, you can appeal a negative decision. I remember assisting a client. She had initially gone to apply for skills assessment herself, or was it from another agent, I believe. I believe they did a fairly good job, but perhaps just not sufficient enough with the amount of documents that were provided. So she received a negative outcome, and the case was transferred to our firm, and we appealed the decision with additional submissions, legal submissions, and finally she achieved a positive assessment, and now, you know, she's on her way to becoming a permanent resident of Australia. So that is great news. Well, that concludes the skills assessment video that I would like to share with you. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you are interested in migrating to Australia and you're looking at doing a skills assessment and you're not too sure if you're on the right track, please do not hesitate to contact us, and we will be very happy to assist you. Our email address is on the link below. Thank you, and we wish you the very best in your pursuit for Australian migration.